What's up, everyone? We are here. And, we called this little podcast together because Orlando was just talking to us and he was saying, like, guys, I just really need some tips on my dating life.
God, here we go.
I need some help, just figuring things out. I got a lot of work. I got all these girls I'm trying to see. I got friends to juggle. I got all this stuff. Like, how does a man do it?
How does a man do it while still taking care of his 3 or 4 cats that he lives with, too?
It's only 2?
2 cats.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a lot to juggle. It's a lot to balance. So take us into your world, because there's people out there. They got cats. They got dating troubles. They got friends. They got work. They got stuff they got to do. What's your life like, Orlando?
Well, let's take a step back. All right. I'm a single dude. You guys have chicks. Mike's married. He has a kid. Aubrey not married.
Mm-hmm. Why'd you raise that like a question? Like I have some secret ass marriage
last
here?
week and not
I don't know.
No, not married. But yeah, thanks for the
things.
weird inquisitive tone in that. But
I'm not sure. Who knows? But so I'm a 31-year-old dude. I'm trying to do all the things I can to better my life, better my career, do all those things, but at the same time, find the balance to also date, do all those things. But, dating is not fun.
Why is it not fun?
Dating was fun, man.
Dating is fun as
It's supposed
shit.
to be really fun.
Well,
Do you get nervous? Is that why it's not fun? Is it like, it's like a lot of pressure?
Sometimes,
Like
you don't know what you're getting into because, I don't meet girls in a normal way anymore. Sometimes I'll go on dates with
like
with
ads
girls.
on Craigslist. I know
Ads
it's
on
sketchy.
Craigslist, back pages,
I already know where this podcast is headed.
wherever. No, but seriously, I don't have a lot of time to go sit at bars and go talk to girls all the time.
That's so old school,
I don't
sitting at bars
do
and
that.
talking to girls.
No, the new way is using dating apps, all that type of stuff. And that's how you meet them. So
So
you're
tell
always
us
meeting
about-
somebody completely new.
So tell us how Tinder works, Orlando. How does it work for you?
Or OkCupid or whatever else
Okay.
you're on, or all of the above.
Well, you scan through, you see a girl, you think she's attractive, you like her, or I guess on Tinder you swipe right, and you start talking, and then you get together and meet up, and it's always usually completely awkward because it's the first time you've ever met the person.
So that makes it not fun because there's anxiety there, right?
Of course, it's anxiety.
But isn't the fun part, or at least it was for me, the fun part, the adventure and the excitement that goes along with meeting new people and experiencing someone's vibe for the first time?
See, dating is exciting as shit to a
Well,
married
when
guy.
you think about
it. See, Mike is unwilling to.
Wasn't it the best thing ever?
He's unwilling to accept that this isn't awesome on all levels.
Well, when you think about it that way, but I'm thinking about myself the whole time is
Yeah.
the problem. I'm like, how am I appearing? Am I sounding like an idiot?
Yeah.
Like, what topics should I not talk about? Should I talk about this? Should I not talk about that? I think maybe what I'm trying to do is like conform
You're
myself.
putting too much pressure on
to-
yourself, dude.
Yeah, always.
Yeah, you got to just have fun out there. That's what it is. Is if you treat it like a job, then it's going to be a job.
And that's going to create the most optimal result too. It's like this funny thing that's going on, and I think it's probably always been there, but it's really intense now. I think is because there's a lot of people who are in their early 20s, like in really good shape, and I'll be chatting with them and bullshitting, and they'll be talking about how they get so nervous when they're about to have sex with a new girl that they'll have like problems getting it up or problems whatever, and they're like taking boner pills and like this whole phenomenon because of how much pressure we put on ourselves. And it gets to the point where it's almost like they're avoiding having sex just because it's so nerve-wracking, the very process, because the pressure that they're putting on themselves. It's like the risk reward is out of balance. The reward, okay, things go well and you get to have sex, but the risk for them is this whole cascade of questioning their manhood and being frustrated and all of this pressure, when really, it's kind of ruining one of the most awesome experiences in the fucking universe, which is hanging out with new people and getting to know each other and doing the dance. And I think the key is to get to a point where you don't care if you get rejected. You just don't care because you're that confident in yourself, and you're that, like, it doesn't matter. It's like water off a duck's back. Oh, that's funny. And then you're free to like really enjoy the experience. But that's what the key is to get to this point of self-confidence where it does not matter. It doesn't matter if you don't perform, doesn't matter if she doesn't like you. You're like, I don't give a shit.
I feel like I'm on Dr. Phil.
Yeah.
You got
What
to
are you
get
doing
your
about your
confidence
life?
all up in there, you
Mhm.
know?
What about you are you most proud of?
That I understand that part. The hard part for me when I was single and dating was like you're saying, like getting to the point where you're confident enough to get shut down.
Mm-hmm.
And like if you'd go to a bar, you'd go to a club or whatever it was, it would only happen, at least for me, after like the 7th or 8th person you talk to. Then it would just be like, fuck it. Like, I'm good. I got shot down by everyone else. Like, my ego is already gone. So now let's just have some fun. And then all of a sudden it would start working and you start clicking with somebody. Because you had like those, you know, first few shots that you had to get out there, and then you got shot down, and then you're just like, well, fuck it. You know, let's see what this person has to say. And you have so much less pressure on yourself, then you're starting to open up, starting to be yourself. And then people start to react to that, and hopefully things go well.
And that's exactly the thing. Like the minute that you stop caring, you get anything that
For
you
sure.
want. Like the universe gives you everything you want as soon as you don't need it. Because by needing it, that means you're afraid of not getting it. And when you're afraid of not getting it, you're manifesting that fear.
See, this is why dating is so hard. There's a
Yeah.
lot. There's so much to think about, and like you're thinking about all the things. And I do go into these situations thinking like, you have nothing to lose. Whatever, just have a good time. Be yourself. There's nothing on the line here. That it's ridiculous to be nervous about it. But then you get there, waiting like they may not be there on time yet. And then there's all these little social things that you have to do that you think in your head you have to do when you're on a date for the very first time. So I think that's where all my anxiety comes in. You see how anxiety? how much anxiety I already
feel you,
have.
man. And look,
I got one coming up tonight.
I was very much in this. I put a lot of pressure on myself in every aspect of life. So I put a lot of pressure on myself in that aspect too. And, I had to basically, just getting older and more experience and taking things to a level where I really got to the point where I didn't have anything else to prove, and that was the point where I could really enjoy it. Cause then you can just focus on the present moment. Like, what is she saying? What does she smell like? What is, and you get to lock into the present moment of all of those different things. And then it becomes really awesome. And that's another thing about even sex itself. Like if you're so concerned about your performance and all of these other things, you're definitely missing out on half the fun.
Mm-hmm.
Half the fun is like really being present and being like, all right, what's going on here? I'm going to like feel and experience and use all of my senses completely in the present moment to enjoy it.
It's like dancing.
Oh my
Right.
Check
God.
it out. So when you get out on the dance floor and you're worried about your moves and you're worried
Yeah.
about who's watching you
Yeah.
and like if you're in time and if you're in rhythm.
And, yeah.
And you look like an idiot. But then when you get shit faced, and you're out there just
Oh yeah, I
killing
feel
it.
like I'm awesome.
Right, because you're not thinking about every move and you're just letting it happen and you're just in the moment.
That's it.
Wisdom.
That's exactly it. It's it's the same deal. It's just losing this. It's taking the judge that's always judging us. There's this part of our mind that we've separated, we've put outside, and it's constantly judging our actions and telling us, you did good, you did bad, you suck, you're blah, blah, blah. And it's just collapsing that back into a unity inside yourself. And that's when life gets really gets fucking fun.
Yeah, see, I've been able to take all that out of my other parts of my life. I wasn't always, I'm in pretty good shape now. I was probably like 40, 50 pounds heavier before I even joined on it.
Mm-hmm.
And, that's definitely helped my confidence for sure. But, I mean, that's helped my confidence in lots of other things I like to do, like playing sports or,
Mm-hmm.
doing all other types of things. But for some reason, it hasn't gone to this part yet. I don't know why that is. But now I'm going to
Take some
pitch
dick
you.
pills.
Yeah. I'm not going to comment on that. Let's switch this around a little bit, fellas.
Well,
So,
yeah, I mean, I think
yeah.
this is just something that we all have these choices, and it's difficult to do, but you can choose if you can control your mind enough, you can choose to not give a fuck and choose to just be in the present moment and say, I'm going to forgive the fuck out of myself no matter what happens, no matter if I bomb, no matter if the sex just goes terribly wrong and I come in 5 seconds or
That never
whatever
happens.
happens,
It's
like what whatever pressure, just know like I'm gonna completely forgive myself because I don't care, because this is not and then that's gonna make it fun again. And so I don't care what this girl says, I don't care, and just make that a conscious choice and do your best to believe it. And the more it's almost like a fake it till you make it kind of scenario, where as long as you just keep telling yourself that and just follow through with it, don't beat yourself up if something goes bad, and just say, look, no matter what happens, I'm not going to beat myself up. I'm cool with the outcomes. And then that's the only way to really do it.
Well, shit.
There you go, man.
All right.
It's almost like being selfish.
Yeah.
Like just focus on having a good time. Make sure you're having a good time, and then the rest of it just kind of falls into place.
And then they're going to have a good time.
Yeah.
It's like everybody, and they're going to be thinking some of the same things. I mean, they don't have exactly the same pressure, but they got pressure too.
So what do you think, and we'll never be able to figure this out in the world, what do you think is going through a woman's mind when she's having her first date with a guy? Like, what do you think's going on in there?
Well, they have a whole other complex set of concerns, because they have like, is this guy going to be a total creep? Is he going to be aggressive? Is he going to be like, is he going to try and trick me? That's
one of the things that I always have trouble with is,
because you're so physically dominant that you're afraid that the girls are just intimidated.
Exactly, Aubrey. What am I gonna do? No, how aggressive I should be. That's my biggest thing, because I've always
gotta read them, man.
I'm like, am I being aggressive enough? Am I not? Like, did I miss an opportunity, or was I being a gentleman? Like, am I a gentleman, or am I supposed to be this other guy? Which one is the one it's supposed to be?
Yeah, see, it's a flow state thing. Yeah. Like you gotta feel it, right? As soon as you start thinking about it, you're fucked, because your mind will never be able to figure it out, because the cues are coming in on a subconscious level. So until you like really mind meld with that person and be like, all right, what's going on here? That's where the dance gets good. It's not a conscious thing. Like, even as you said, dance is a super good analogy. Like, if you're dancing with somebody and you're trying to think like, I wonder what way she's going to change up this beat, you're always going to be lagging. You're going to be behind, and that's going to be a problem. But where if you just let all that go and just lock in, and that's when you'll figure it out.
All right, so you guys are in committed relationships. Now, once you get to that point, what's the maintenance like?
What's
Because
maintenance like?
what I'm saying is like, do I really want to get there? Of course, you can't say anything bad.
That's a. I mean, Aubrey's gonna have a completely different viewpoint on that than I do, for sure. For me, like the relationship was something that kind of snuck up on me. It was like I was totally okay. I've said this a million times, but I was totally okay with just being single the rest of my life. I was just okay with like never finding the one, or whatever that whole like thing is. And as soon as I like was okay with that, and as soon as I accepted that, that's when I met my wife. And then what kind of happens strangely is like all of your preconceived stuff that you think that this is the way the world is, or here's how it works, that all just kind of goes out the door, and then you realize that you don't know shit, which is one of those things that happens in your life, hopefully a million times, when you get that slap in the face where you're like, oh, I really don't know anything, right when you think you have something figured out, and then that rule book just completely goes out the door. It's a humbling experience, it's a growing experience, and then you take that, and then hopefully you can keep remembering those lessons for the next time that you think you got everything figured out. So for me, that's what happened. Your question was, what's maintenance like?
Yeah.
Well, it's incredibly fulfilling to have someone like as a partner. So once that changed my whole outlook from like thinking about myself and being selfish to now like thinking about someone else. It's not, I don't think of it as maintenance at all. It's just like an extension of myself. So my life is her life is my life, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So Aubrey,
so when you jerk off, it's like you're jerking both of yourselves off. It's like,
I don't jerk off.
Oh, okay.
It ends. It ends.
Yeah, I have some thoughts on that. I think one of the most important things is that, in these alliances, you have to choose a partner that's going to bring the best for your life, and you're going to bring the best for their life. Like, the partnership is super important, because I think a lot of times, people, one of the things that attracts people is the sex and the physical part, and that's super important. I don't think you should ignore that, but a partnership is, I think, one of the most crucial things. And if that's not quite right there, then the resentment is inevitably going to build throughout that. So choosing someone that's going to be a partner, that's going to ally. Just like if your life was a business, what's the business partner you want in there? Someone who has complementary skills but still knows enough about your skills that it's not going to be like they can't even relate to what you're doing. And if you have to go somewhere, they can pick up the slack, or at least talk to you about what you're dealing with. So number one, choose a good partner. Number two, I think where a lot of people go off is the levels of honesty that they maintain with this person. Like with a business partner, if it's a good business partner, you're at a fucking 100% honesty. You're not shading things either way. Like, oh yeah, things are going good in the warehouse. If it's a good business partner, you're like, yeah, some shit broke, things are fucked, we're behind, blah, blah, blah. And you just tell it like it is. You don't even imagine how you're going to present that. And in relationship, that's hard because we have these rules in place that I think are, they go against human nature. We're all in this game pretending like we're not attracted to other people. And I think you can set whatever agreement you want. And I'm not saying that people should, choose a path separate from monogamy, but I do believe that we should acknowledge the human nature of ourselves. So we're not lying to this person who's a partner in our life, because I think that creates some disparity. So you can choose to say, yeah, we're totally monogamous. That's our agreement. But let's not lie and pretend that we don't find other people attractive. Let's at least have that as part of the thing that we bring in, and just recognize that we're monkeys. We have this part of ourselves. Let's not feel guilty about having that. Let's just talk about it, say what it is. And we also have the choice as sentient beings to choose what we want to do. So I think bringing that honesty up to 100 and having a good partner, that to me are the two crucial elements of doing that. And if you have that, then you can choose to do whatever you want, But like in that situation, it's like, imagine like you're with your girl and a beautiful girl walks by, right? Yeah, exactly. And if your girl's there, like, man, that girl's hot. Like, I bet you'd like,
not as hot as you.
I bet you'd like to bang the shit out of her. And you're like, yeah, totally. And then you guys laugh. Imagine how much pressure that takes off.
Yeah.
Both of you knowing you're not going to do it. It's not.
But we all know there's not all girls that are like that.
Okay. Now we're on the same team. Yeah. We're on this fucking same team. It's not me pretending to be something. I'm going to go talk to my boys and be, man, you should have fucking seen this girl that was walking by. It was amazing. It's just being on the same team and having that partner. That to me is the crucial shit.
Yeah. So, I mean, you made the analogy of treating kind of situations almost like a business partner. Mm-hmm. That works once you're already in the relationship. Like you were saying earlier, that doesn't work in the pre-relationship. Is that what we were talking about?
I think it does. I think it works on like a more biological level. Like you were saying, like what is the girl walking into a date expecting, and what is she, what are her hangups and all that. I think there's a lot more biological stuff that's happening behind the scenes that no one maybe even is conscious of that's happening. Like I think of, I'm not going to pretend to think what a female's thinking, but I imagine from my experience and what I've seen that girls are thinking more primally as far as like, is this person going to be a good protector? Is this person going to be a provider? Could he be a good father? Like all these things are like happening in their brains. And at some level, I think as guys, you're thinking that way about a girl too. Is this going to be a good mother? Is this going to be a good, nurturer for my family? Is this, like these little decisions that are happening, I think a million miles an hour in your brain.
I think those are all these kind of subconscious patterns. But I think the main primary focus at the start is this person for a female, is this guy going to take more than he gives? Like, is he going to take, is this going to be a good exchange for me? Is he going to take my time? Is he going to take my sexuality and fucking bounce? Is he going to be like a burglar in the night, comes in and steals some shit from me, my time, my attention, my, and then fucking bounce like a thief? Or is this going to be someone that's going to bring something to the table, either bring their humor, bring the enjoyment of the experience, bring a positive sexual experience, be there on the phone to chat the next day, and not be
talking
playing
on the phone?
Not be playing some weird game. Like a lot of guys have this burglar mentality. Like, I'm going to break into this girl's house, I'm going to steal her vagina, and I'm going to fucking get out.
Steal it.
Whoa, that just got super dark.
Jesus.
Settle down, Orlando.
My
We're not
Instagram
trying
is
to get
life
dark here. So, yeah. So, I mean, I think that's really the main concern because so many people are like that. They're just in this position of, I'm going to go take this. I'm going to go run away, and I'm going to talk to my friends about it. And it's going to be a victory, like the fucking Thieves Guild. Rather than, hey, what did I do to this experience? Did I create a positive exchange, no matter if that's a short exchange or this long exchange, which I think that programming starts to get more intense the longer you're with somebody. Is like, where is this going? Is this, those things take more of a factor. But I think it's all about creating like an even exchange. If you have 5 minutes with them, are they going to laugh? Are they going to enjoy themselves in that 5 minutes? If you have 5 days, are they going to, or if they have 5 years or 50 years, it's all about creating this balance in the exchange.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know the last time you guys did traditional dating, like to where you meet and have dinner, all that stuff, right? I think, I don't know if you guys have ever been in this situation, but I had this situation maybe about a month ago where I just wanted to get the hell out of there. And it was like a dinner and everything, so I had to go through the whole entire thing.
So why'd you want to get the hell out of there? What was going on?
Wasn't attracted, just straight up wasn't attracted to her physically and conversationally. Like I just automatically just knew this is going nowhere.
I think there's a chapter. I think it was Tim Ferriss's first book, where there's a chapter on like giving up is okay, and I remember like kind of vaguely, but it was something about like if you're in a movie, if you're sitting in a movie theater and the movie fucking sucks, don't feel like you owe it to yourself to sit through the rest of that movie. Mm-hmm. Like you owe it to yourself actually to get the hell out of there and go spend your time doing something better. It's like cut your losses basically. And so kind of like along the same lines, like, if by all means have a good date and try and make yourself, appealing and have good conversation and all that. But if it's not going to work, it's not going to work. Just get the fuck out of there. Yeah. Like I think that person would
just
respect
kindly
you.
And kindly and respectfully just be like, all right, it's good to meet you.
Because I guarantee you, if you're feeling that, she's feeling that too at some level. Mm-hmm. And it just you're just going to make everything a lot better. Just being like, what, this is stupid. Let's just go.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think a lot of times people. I actually see this more, and this is kind of a little bit of diversion of topic, but I see this a lot with friends. Like people have this paradigm in their head that, it's cool to break up with a girl. Like once you're sleeping with somebody, or if it's the vice versa, a girl breaking up with a guy. If you've slept with somebody, you can break up with them.
Because you already got what you needed.
Well, no, but that's just the paradigm. Like you break up with people who you've slept with. But then a lot of people have friends that definitely no longer serving them, like remnants from this old life where you used to connect over this one thing. Maybe it used to be heavy drinking buddies together, and now you're on a different path. But you still have this old friend. And there's like this obligation to keep this friend, even though you totally should have broken up with that friend. Yeah. But people don't break up with friends because it's like, oh, well, we're friends. We can't break up. It's not part of the vernacular. Like I just don't agree with either of those scenarios where you have to break up with people if you stop seeing someone who you slept with, or you can't break up with someone if you haven't slept with them. Like just cut the people out who are no longer serving your life and you're no longer serving theirs. Like, it's fine, and do it kindly, but just, we don't connect anymore. You're like, later.
That's a really good point. Breaking out of like just a relationship, like you're saying, like a friend, and it's rough. Like
I've never told a friend, even friends that I've had that I absolutely hate and would never want to see in my life again.
I don't know.
I don't want to see you.
I don't know if I have
stop
either.
talking.
I don't know if I've actually called a friend and been like, we're done.
Yeah. I'm
Lose
breaking
my
up
fucking
with
number.
you.
Yeah. No, it's just it kind of naturally happens, I guess. But yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, I mean, it can be a bit much to like overtly say it, but I think I still see it all the time. People just hanging on to these people. They're in a group, and it's like the group gets together and someone has a little bit more weaker resolve when everybody knows that they don't really want that person in the group, or it's just not the right thing anymore, and it's hindering everybody's growth. There's these crutches in place. Just, cut that shit off. It's like, I don't know. I mean, and then vice versa too. I see these people like, because they've had a relationship, they believe that even if they got along great, like, oh, we got to break up. We can't see each other. Oh, well, it'd be awkward if we hang out or anything. Like, no, not necessarily. I guess if you believe that, it will. Or just be cool. Like, just because you guys had sex doesn't mean it has to be super weird. Like, everybody settle down a little bit. You know, if you like that person in the past and it's your ex-girlfriend and you guys are getting along, cool. That's fine. Get over it.
And I want to just put this out there so people don't think I'm some lonely guy with cats. I have had girlfriends in the past, and
Good for you.
Come
Lando.
on, give
Good for
me a
you.
little
Yeah.
applause.
I don't think anybody was worried about that.
Now
but,
they are.
but glad.
No, this is my anxieties coming back into play. All right. So now I'm worried about, oh my God, what if one of the girls I dated watches this podcast and is like, oh, this
Right.
guy.
Yeah, I don't think that was even in the field.
Nope.
Lando.
It was in my mind, so I
Right.
got to say it.
Not necessarily. See, so that's one of those things. Like, anxiety causes you to bring something up to people's attention that wasn't even there.
Oh shit! Can I go back and dub that out?
And now you're worried about
Now
kind
it's
of
just
dub it
getting
out.
worse,
So it's
dude.
just getting worse.
Well, I'm the one that edits this podcast. I'll cut out what I
I have
need.
the power of God.
If you're just tuning in and there's like a really hard skip in the playlist, that's what happened.
Yeah, for sure. So what else, Lando? What else you got going on in your mind?
I don't know. I don't want to talk anymore.
We've done a terrible job in our
Well,
counseling.
I think you started with something about like work-life balance, and then we
And then we
got
just
off track
went.
talking about your love life.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm sure there's other people out there that have some of these same thoughts. So
no doubt. It's universal.
I'm sure somebody could relate out there. It's a thing we have to deal with in life, and with all things you have to confront them. So I'm gonna go out there on my date tonight, and I'm gonna try not to have any. Oh, the thunder roared as soon as I said that.
And the thunder rolled.
Yeah, I'm gonna go out there.
Where you guys
And
going
the
on your date?
lightning strikes.
I'm gonna give you one guess.
Can you
Be
sing
a
a little Garth
313.
Brooks for
That's
us?
right.
You 313, really?
Yeah.
I bet Brandon could sing Garth Brooks. Brandon, can you sing? Can you sing that song for us? Another Love Grows Cold on a Sleepless Night. That one.
The thunder rolls and the lightning strikes.
I don't know if Brandon knows that one.
No, he doesn't know that one. Well, okay, work-life balance. So, Mike, you got even more of that going on right now because you got a kid.
Yep.
And that's like even more intense because I know that both of us, and I'd still do it because I don't have a kid, but there's that period at night where it's just that's where you get really productive. But now you got an extra child in there. So how's that been, juggling everything that you do with this career and wife, friends, kid, the whole deal?
It's a challenge. I'm not going to pretend that it's easy, but I'm also not going to pretend that I've got it harder or easier than anyone else. It's just it's been happening since the dawn of time. I'm sure whether you're out there hunting and gathering and coming back to the cave or working in an office. The trick is you're 9 to 5, so to speak. You got to be all in. And you can't really be like diverting your attention to what's going on over here and what's going on over here, because if you're split too many different ways, then you're not doing anything really well. Right. So you kind of have to be all in when you're at work, and this is just my own thing. And then when I go home, then I'm trying to be all in at home.
Nice.
But it's a lot more challenging, and that's kind of what I hear from my wife. Like, she gives me shit for is when I'm home, I need to be home and I need to be present and aware because I'm gone 9 hours a day and that's our time and all that. So it's tough to do, especially when, in today's age, you're so connected and there's so many other people working in the office that are all working on their schedules. If somebody's doing work at 7 at night, it's almost like you have to be doing work at 7 at night because why? What I mean? Like it's just going to pass you up.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really tricky to maintain that balance and to almost like shut down for a couple hours when you get home, but you also kind of want to just unplug when you get home and not go straight into that second job. My wife's been really good about it. Still challenging for me, but what I've been finding is like I go home, have those 2 or 3 hours with the family, and then she likes to go to bed early. He has to go to bed early, my son. And so from like 10 to 2 a.m., that's like the magic time for me, where I can really like start to think about, whatever's happening the next day at work or this thing that I haven't got done yet, or I can really like spend some cycles like processing some strategy sessions, writing stuff down. So
that's something that I think I could really improve on, and I'd like to get more improved on is like getting a little bit more binary with when I'm on and thinking about stuff and when I'm just supposed to be enjoying stuff.
Yeah.
Because all of that tends to bleed through constantly, where I'm running a 30%, 40% cycle in the back of my head, thinking about work, thinking about a book I'm writing, thinking about all this stuff. So I'm only 60% present in whatever it is I'm doing. I mean, and I think getting better at that, and sometimes I'll remember it, like yesterday watching the Blackhawks game, you know, I'll drift off into thoughts and I'll stop enjoying the game and I'm like, what am I doing? Like focus, like we got friends over, it's time to just relax. And there's some kind of like, I think staying organized can really help with that too. And I know that one technique that I've used before is, you know, because I use it before bed, because that's another issue, because you go to hit the pillow and then a million thoughts come, and then that's, you think, oh man, I got to sort all this out. You know, a good thing to do is just write stuff down and just be like, listen, I'm going to write all this stuff down that I'm thinking about, and I'll pick it up in the morning and I'll worry about it then. And half the shit gets resolved as you sleep in the middle of the night. But I think that's an important thing, to have that kind of like fogo to chow, on, off, red, green, like get really binary with it. Like, now it's time for work. Now it's time for do not think about work, and just use that, you know, so that you get a break.
I think that that's easy in a vacuum. Like if you don't have outside stimuli like hitting you up for stuff, then it's easy to do. Right. But when it's like, so-and-so just wrote this comment on, you know, email or text, so
you got to unplug.
It's, I mean, that's the only thing you can do, you know, and then it's almost like you have to tell everyone ahead of time, from this time to this time, lights out, you know, don't expect anything out of me, which would be nice, but it's hard to do.
You just got to go to Alaska, go in the wild where you can't be connected. That's the key.
Yeah, so I've done a really, you know, that's one of the reasons why I like going down in South America and doing these things. Obviously, I get to take a bunch of cool psychedelics and stuff like that, but it's also this forced unplug where you can't really deal with anything. So you really just get time back. You get so much time that you can get bored again. Like, that's
a weird
like
cleanse.
That's important.
Yeah.
Like I remember being bored when I was younger, you know, and then that goes away because there's all of a sudden just a billion things to do.
Right.
You know, like a billion leisure things I could choose to do that I don't even get time to do.
You kind of wish you could get bored.
Yeah. So, but then when you do finally get bored again, it's so refreshing. You know, then you get enthusiastic for everything else. You're like, oh, I'm bored. This is awesome. You know,
what do I get to do?
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's, you know, getting enough of a break where you get a little bored again. That's strong.
I agree.
Yeah. Well, what else, guys? How about you, Mike? Anything else you're trying to sort out?
No, man. I mean, it's just that life-work balance right now. It's every time you think you got it figured out, something else comes into play and you got to adjust. And that's what I'm finding more and more is really like the whole like plan for life. And like when you think you've got like this path or rule book or whatever, it's just so fluid. You know, even just seeing it with the development of my son every day is a completely different world. You know, he's looking at things differently, making new noises, tasting new things, smelling new things for the first time. And just seeing that kind of path develop, it's like, it's a metaphor, really. It's like your whole life is doing the exact same thing. You're not seeing it on that like super detailed level of human life. It's actually your same life, you know? And so just trying to navigate those waters.
Yeah.
You know?
You're talking about the other day, like, so this is your first time being a father and you're learning all these little things you should be doing, but then you're forgetting, oh, why didn't I do this? Like, so we had the floods and the crazy weather here in Texas. And you're like, wait a second, I'm not prepared for any of this. I don't have water. I don't have flashlights.
Yeah, that was a slap in the face the other day because we got that terrible rain, and then my phone goes off and it says seek shelter, tornado imminent, and it was like, oh shit, I've never seen that one before. You know, like, you see like the Amber Alert or like whatever, like so and so's missing, but this was like tornado imminent, seek shelter, and I was like, I don't know what to do, and it really like felt like shit. So it was like, I'm supposed to be the man, I'm supposed to be the provider, and I was like, Lindsay, what happens now? You know, she's like, oh, you never been in a tornado before? No, I've never been in a tornado before.
I can tell you what to do in an earthquake.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, go to an open field. She's like, no, that's the opposite. But yeah, I mean, shit, dude, I gotta get stocked up on batteries and light bulbs and all that other crazy shit that you need in an emergency.
Yeah, I was thinking about where I would go in my house for a tornado. That's like
you guys are out there in the area where they can swoop
we got a few hills that usually protects us out there, but it's weird. Well, for me, it's just a matter of now everything has a priority, and those priority, like correctly assessing what the priority of situation is definitely the most valuable skill right now. You know, like there's a billion things I could write, there's a billion things I could do, and I have to accept the fact that not all of them could get done.
Yeah.
And release the anxiety of the fact that I'm in a perpetual state where I can't do everything that I want to do, especially because I'm the type of person that wants to accomplish things quickly. Like I don't have like great patience when I know something would be good. So that's the key, like releasing that low level of anxiety that you have that I've just been tracking more and more. It's just kind of always there. Like there's this level of anxiety that's just constantly there, and like getting that back down to zero so my body can really relax and rest. That's the trick, man.
I don't think that that's possible with you. I think that that's
Thanks, Mike.
no, but I think that that's like the double-edged sword. Like I think that's simultaneously what having that goal that you're always like reaching for, that zero inbox, you know, like as soon as I can finish all of these things, I'll be good.
Yeah.
But it's like for you and for this job, and what makes all of us love this job so much is that there's never an end point. It's like as soon as one thing is finished, there's 14 more stacked up, like coming up. And that's, I mean, say what you want about that, but for me personally, that's everything from like excitement to job security to, you know, never a dull moment. Like when it's almost like the worst thing you can do when you see the light at the end of the tunnel. It's like, oh, there's the finish line.
Yeah.
What the fuck are we gonna do next?
And I think really what it is, it's an acceptance of that perpetual state of constant, like just know that there is no, everything is a false summit. There's another summit behind that. Like when you're hiking, you know, and you think you got that, there's a mountain, Bear Mountain that we climb, and you think you're summiting, and it's exhausting, like 2.5 hours straight up. And then you get to that point and you realize, oh, damn, there's another summit. And then there's another summit. You just couldn't see it from that thing.
Totally.
And that's perpetually what life is. And so just realizing that you can do all that, but just drop the anxiety level down so you don't burn the fuck out in doing that. That's kind of my grind right now and my key. So that's what I've been tracking. And I realize like when I smoke weed, I'll have that feeling of anxiety. And I'm realizing that I don't think it's the weed that's giving me the anxiety. I think I'm smoking the weed and it's showing me how anxious I am normally.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's not causing it.
It's not causing it at all. It's like, oh, you're anxious, and now, you know, you're able to kind of track that and see like, oh, okay, you're anxious. So now let's figure out how to deal with this. Maybe I'll go in the meditation room and I'll, you know, I'll roll out on a ball or a lacrosse ball or something like that and just kind of breathe, or I'll actually do meditation or whatever. So that's kind of the key for me, because that long-term anxiety just kind of wreaks havoc on the system, sleep and immune system and all that. So that's it for me.
Yeah. Well, this has been kind of cool. This is our first kind of just roundtable discussion, just talking about shit. So
talking shit.
Just talking shit.
Talking shit. Lando, get it done tonight on your date.
God, I hope she doesn't find this podcast.
All right. Much love, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Peace.